This is the most exciting car I've seen come out of Audi, well, in years, if I'm honest with you. There's the keys of it. I'm going to be driving it in a little while. This is the Audi E-Tron GT, fully electric car, based kind of similarly to a Porsche Taycan, along the same lines, same sort of systems underneath. 93 kilowatt hour battery, 85 of that is usable, actually driving usable. Gives this a fairly decent, respectable range, very fast 0 to 60 time. This is a performance car, this is a performance GT car, so maybe a long range car. Efficiency wise, it seems to be very efficient, but the look of the car is the thing that actually gets me most excited. I'm going to put some facts and figures on the side of the screen so you get a flavour of the numbers that are attached to this car. There is an RS version of this car due on later on this year. This one is the standard one. They're all quattro. This one has the 2-speed gearbox in the back of it, which gives it an ability to be able to do its 0 to 60 time relatively 3 to 4 seconds, somewhere in that region, depending on the model you're picking, of course. It is outstandingly pretty. I think it's just one of their prettiest cars they've ever built. And I really like the front grille. So let's talk about that for a second. So front grille wise, we start looking at the front grille of an Audi normally does this shape around the outside. This is maybe a lesson for BMW as well. What Audi has done is fill this in completely but kept the shape. So we still have the shape of a recognizable Audi exterior. Now they've put in a couple of air ducty vent things here. Now LED matrix lights are here in the front, very traditionally Audi as well. And then you have all these little scoops and things that are all here to make the car more efficient, more slippery as it passes through the air. And then you have that sort of bonnet scooped out part on the bonnet. Such a pretty look to a car, really is subtle. It'll draw your eye in, reminiscent of Audi R8s, reminiscent of Audi RS7s and RS6, particularly RS7, but very pretty. Let's have a look at one of the other pretty features round the back. So around the back of the car, of course, is these massive haunches that lead you down to the end here, which this has the light bar across the back of it. There is diffusers down the bottom, whether they're operational or not, it makes a difference. Diffusers here. A lot of this in the RS model is replaced with carbon fiber. Then you have that really broad look to the back of the car when the lights are on and operational. You've also got a little spoiler that pops up here at certain speeds. Not sure what the speed is yet. And then under here in the boot, 407 litres, 406 litres, same as the Porsche Taycan. 12 volt socket in here as well. You got a little shopping bag hooks underneath, but no way of lowering the seats back here either. And in the boot, we don't have any sort of spare wheel. We just have a panel that covers over an extra space in there for more stuff. Anyway, let's have a little look on the inside. So as you can see, pillarless doors are the first thing, right? The windows don't go all the way down, and they don't go all the way down the back either. Now there's a big spike sticking out here, lads. You see that spike there? I'm not sure why they've done that. I get it, kind of, I get it, because when you close the door, the spike matches into the curvature of the door, right? But that's something you could spear yourself with. But that's okay, we'll gloss over that for a minute. The view inside is absolutely gorgeous. Look at the layout, I love it. Physical wheels, actual physical touchy things here on both sides. Physical buttons, so I like that, that's good, I like that. I like this layout up here. This is traditional Audi, I get it, I've seen that multiple times before. It's normal navigation screens. But underneath that, they've got physical buttons. Audi, you're ticking all my boxes here, lads, this is good. Physically, they've got all the physical switches along here, a little screen here for the air conditioning. Drive select is of course on the wrong side because it's normal left-hand drive. Self-parking is here as well. Then you got a sort of a notch thing for choosing the gear. Start stop is here. And volume control is here. Little thing. The cup holders are here. It's got a little thing in it. A smoker's pack maybe. And then you have a little cubby hole behind that, of which you can put your phone into a little wireless charging tray right here. It's vertically mounted wireless charging tray. Absolutely adore the word E-Tron written here. This kind of material that's used is all very, God, that's so good. Beautifully matched up. Very busy lines there and there. And then the vent down low here in the middle, which again, I'm not sure. We'll see in the drive, maybe we'll see if that blows cold air on my kneecap. But interior wise, super looking. Scooped out seats, just looks great. Very, very impressed with the front seat. I'm gonna set the seat up for me, which I'll move that forward a bit. I'd be more here, I think, give or take there. Now, We're going to try the back seat now, see what that's like. So back doors, again, this is a pillarless window, but the back doors, that opening is quite small in fairness to it. Right. I suppose I better talk about the foot garage. Somebody in Audi marketing got paid a lot of money to come up with that phrase, but a foot garage is this bit here on the floor. So what they've done is they've moved 3 or 4 of the cells, I think 3 of the cells, under the seat that I'm sitting on to give you more depth in the floor, so they could remove it and make what they call, like I say, a foot garage. Back of the seats, a little bit overwhelming on the plastic. Good for, you know, when kids are in the back and pushing on your seat and stuff because they can't get through. This is hard plastic here. But it does look overwhelming. The beautiful panoramic roof is gorgeous. Absolutely adore that. Good view from back here. I have air conditioning and heated seats here in the back. It's quite nice. The center console seat, this is a 4-seat. Let's just call it now, okay? It's a 4-seat, but in a pinch, you could cut a human in half and put them on this middle seat, or a small child, if you wanted it. There is a seat belt for the middle seat. This is why I'm pointing this out to you. But realistically, I wouldn't put a human there. There is an armrest, somewhat ruined by a cup holder in the center of it. And we seem to have, no we don't, yeah we do, a load through system, which allows you to be able to get stuff from the boot into the front seat. And still keep an armrest if you want to in the middle, if it's something small. That's pretty handy. That's pretty good. I like that. That's a good feature. But now that third seat is more or less unusable. Room for my head, as you can see here, plenty of room between me and the glass. It's all very nice. It's all very pleasant. Good materials used, as per usual with Audi. I would expect really top class materials with Audi, and it looks fabulous. That one single pane of glass is amazing to look up at. Really is. Like, that's just one unit of glass right there, all along. It is gorgeous, and frameless mirrors and things. Very nice. Right, let's crack on with a drive. I just got in and I'm going to start and then D, and we're okay with the privacy thing. I don't really care about that part. There's a weird noise. It makes a very weird noise. That's refreshing. That makes quite a cool sound. I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting such a... I can't explain it. It's like a spacecraft or something taking off. Like we're about to take off into the wild blue yonder, sort of. Anyway, well, I have to adjust my steering wheel a little bit. It's a little bit close to me for that purpose. That's nice. Nice seating position. Very ultra comfortable seats. It feels so wide and so buried on the road. You know, it feels very heavy on the road. So thinking about batteries for a minute, we have a 93 kilowatt hour battery in this. It's 85 kilowatts of that are usable range. Now, I hate to proclaim the ranges. I've shown you the ranges already on the side of the screen. I'll put them up again for a second, because most of the time these ranges they're in an ideal world, this is what you would get if you drove it a certain way. Whereas people don't all drive the same way, so you'll get various versions of that range, just as you would in an internal combustion engine car. This feels so premium. Let's have a look at drive modes. Drive select. Here we go. We're in comfort at the moment. Let's just click dynamic. Oh, we can raise the suspension. These all have air suspension. So every one of them has that. Navigation. Oh, very nice. No, this is more traditional. Feels more traditional. No heads-up display of this. Oh, the noise becomes louder. Much louder. Oh, that's cool. The sound is really very low. I'm not sure the mic will pick it up really, but there's just a very low down sort of guttural sound from the car, which is reminiscent, I suppose, of, like, you know, V8s and V10s and things, but at the same time electronic. I was playing Forza 4 last, or Forza, whatever it is, the latest version of Forza. last night on the PC. I was streaming it on Twitch. It's kind of like driving in that kind of situation where you're excited by what's going on, but realistically, it does still feel like I'm pressing keys on a keyboard so far. We'll get to the dynamic part of it driving a little bit later on after I get a good spin in the car and get kind of settled down. There is a constant hum there, constantly sort of slight hum to the whole car. There's a Kia e-Niro beside me. There's a few electric cars on the road. It's funny to see so many electric cars coming in. These cars will come with four-wheel steering, which will be optional on some of the cars. You can also have the RS version of it, which will have closer to 600 horsepower, but I think that actually goes up to 650 if I'm not mistaken. Numbers, there's so many numbers attached to electric cars these days. So much to remember. And so many things that don't make any sense to people. Like there's numbers in the numbers game that don't necessarily make sense to people when you're driving along, you know. So we try and get out on a little bit more of a country road or comfort feel. What's efficiency? Is efficiency, does that drop this? It does, it lowers it. Oh, the suspension's going down. I can see the little raise and lower of the suspension. The air suspension is cut in there to make the car slippier and more efficient as it drives along the road. This is without doubt one of the most exciting electric cars I've dreamt about. Only a few weeks ago I was looking at an international launch or reveal of the car online, and I was looking at it thinking, God, that's just such a super looking car. I really want to go in that. I mean, it's the first electric car I've seen that I'm genuinely excited by. Model S, yes, of course. How does it stack up against other things? So this is based essentially on a Porsche Taycan, because Volkswagen Group, Audi Volkswagen Group own Porsche. So it's based on a Taycan underneath. So they put what they've learned from Taycan into this car. That's kind of interesting place to go, because Taycan is what people deem to be a very, very good car. Currently I have 313 kilometers on the dash. I can't see the actual charge of the car, what it's actually charged to. It does say it's charged, but it doesn't say whether it's fully charged or not. Whether I would be, I know this is out of my price bracket, but we must also mention the word Tesla in the middle of this review, because Tesla will be the king of long range to me. Not necessarily the king of driving, but they're very good at long range driving. Their supercharger network is now essentially worldwide, really. You could easily leave home in Ireland and drive your way over towards Russia there and hit a superchargers all along that route. You know, they're very good at that. And I suppose that's kind of the key for what Audi does, that they need to latch onto that, and they're going to do that through Ionity here in Ireland, in the same principle, same breath as using ESB network. Ireland is ideally suited for weirdly, for electric cars. It's one of the very few things that Ireland's ever been ideally suited to do. But electric cars are certainly part of that, in that we have such a small little island. You can drive from Dublin, here where I am, to Cork in probably 3-4 hours. And you can easily do that in a petrol or diesel car. And now you can do it in these electric cars as well. I'm just in efficiency mode, but I can already feel that there's some power that goes with it. It tells me on the screen, in efficiency mode, the max speed I can do is 140 kilometers an hour, which of course would be, you know, breaking the speed limit in this country, but it is an Autobahn muncher. That's what these cars are designed to do. And that's what I'm very interested by, because up until now, basically every electric car that's in the standard price bracket market would be dead on the motorway in no time. I came here this morning in a Mazda MX-30. I had a full tank leaving Portlaoise. I had 40 kilometers left getting to Dublin, because it's a motorway burn all the way up. You're doing 120 kilometers an hour and then 100 kilometers an hour on the M50 all the way. So it literally drains the battery. There's no power left in the batteries to do anything with. Whereas this, oh, that noise is actually exciting. I'm sorry. Most electric cars are in a straight line, are very fast, but not exciting. They don't do anything for you. You know, they don't go anywhere. Let's try right, we try a little bit of off the line speed, right? But they don't do anything interesting. You just get to your speed efficiently. Whereas this has a noise, so I feel like there's something happening. I can hear things happening as well. The effect of sound on you it cannot be underrated. Oh, Jesus. That's mad. The pressure on your face So intense. That's brilliant. I like that. Now I also noticed about when I take my foot off the go pedal that the car has not offered me resistance. So it's not one pedal braking. Now Audi said they didn't want to do that. They didn't want that one pedal thing, but I can add it. So if I click through the gears here, that's not doing anything. That's not doing it. Oh, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Very, very, very light. Very light. One pedal braking. Very light on that. They want you to use the proper friction brakes in the car. That noise is very nice. Audi, I like your thinking with the noise stuff. Now, seemingly they developed one of the noises with the car by blowing lots of air through a very thin tube. We call that dump valves over here. When the car decelerates. The lads from TikTok will know what I'm talking about there. We're going to test the dynamic handling on the roundabout ahead. See what happens. Is it any good? The dynamic response time of the car. Currently I'm doing 43.5 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, which is pretty good. That's all right, I think. It's hard to estimate because that guesstimator thingamajig goes up and down. I'm being kind of rough on the car as well. Like I'm flooring it here and there and doing stuff to it. It's roundabout time, babe. It's just very busy, isn't it? Where's all the cars going? Just Bentleys and everything around here. This is scary place. It's full of bad people driving weird cars, including a driving school who just went straight across 2 lanes to get off the roundabout. We won't mention the warning. I'm in dynamic mode. We're going to test it. I'm going to put out in a nice slow place when I know I have a sort of an empty lane to go. Here we go. We're clear now. Clear now. Go. Jesus! Oh my God! You can feel the whole gearbox do its thing behind you. Because the car actually has 2 gears in the rear part of the car, the rear gearbox bit. So what it does is, if you want to do a 0 to 60 time, it engages gear 1, and to go a high speed, it engages gear 2. So that's the 2 gear. That's the first. Well, it's the first time there's been a proper gearbox of any kind in most of these cars. Also, at higher cruising speeds, like we're doing now, the car will disengage the gearbox entirely in the back and run on front wheel drive alone, which makes the car super efficient. Right, back into drive mode, and we go into comfort. Comfort. Right, is there no sort of selector button somewhere that I can do that with on the dash? No. Do it there. You have a favorite button you can do messing with there if you want to. Right, active cruise control on. Here we are. We're doing active cruise control now. Yeah, we're on. Lovely jubbly. Change the distance down to nothing. Now, because I'm not following the sound of an engine out there somewhere, it's actually very quiet in here. I'm hearing a bit of wind noise, a little tiny bit of road noise, just a small bit. Nothing mad. No more than I would in any other car, really. Just gorgeous. I love that the sat nav is on my screen in front of me. My speed is here, my range is here. 430 kilometers done, 285 left. I can creep about here nice and slow. I can be efficient, is what I'm saying, when I want to be. This is double glaze, very quiet. It's very quiet in here. This is a lovely place to be. Now I notice there's no real sort of armrest. So you kind of put your elbow there on that bit, but it's not an actual movable armrest. I can't shift anything out or do anything else with it. What a gorgeous machine, Audi. You have done God's work here now on electric cars. About time. It is about time. I really like this. Cars are slowing down to have a look at it. I know how I get it. Lads are slowing down to have a gander at the car, see what it is, see what's going on. It is so easy to use your torque to do shit. It's so easy to just floor it and leave things standing still, you know. And that's kind of weird to feel when you're driving along like this. It really is, because you know you're in something that's very efficient, it's very electric, and everything's good in the world. But when you want to, you can just go, and suddenly you're just pounding along the road in that same electric car. that makes a big difference in my head for electric cars, because like I said, there's this efficiency race that's going on right now to see how far you can go on a battery, and that's not what batteries are for, I don't think. It's how you're going to use it that I think matters more than anything, because I would be a very short range electric car driver, but every once in a while I will want to go a long way in a car. So for me, I would have to probably buy something that is long range driver, you know. But I probably only charge it once a month. That's the thing about electric cars. I don't really charge them that much. There is a lovely sound from the car. I'm sitting here just amusing myself with the noises of the car. Oh, there is a moment where it cuts in, like a second gear comes on. Oh my God! You pin it to the board, and you really can feel that effect. Hey, listen, it was brilliant to have you along for a drive. Maybe you can hit the subscribe button at some point, which is, you know, why you're here, why videos get so many views and not so many subscribers out of it. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I'd love to have you along for the rest of the ride. It's an interesting thing, this Audi GT. I'm not too sure where they're going to go with this, but it does, if you think about the Volkswagen Group now, they now have ID3, ID4, Audi e-tron, forthcoming thing from Skoda and Seat, Skoda Enyaq, and then Seat will bring out the Born. That's a lot more choice in the market, and I kind of like that. I kind of want that choice. Choice is important. Choice is vital, actually. Thank you very much for joining into this video review. List of links are down below if you want to support the channel, or you want to find me on other social medias as well, like Instagram or wherever. Check out bobflavin.com, which you can buy this jumper there if you want to. If some of you cool dudes would be interested in actually dressing up the same way I am, be good. But brilliant to have you along. Thank you very much for joining me, and until the next time, I will see you on the far side. Everybody's looking at me through the window. It happens a lot. It's okay. It's the car, not me, mate. Well, I don't think it's me. I'll get tagged on Instagram or somewhere later on, and someone will go, "Oh, I've seen you today. I was afraid to say hello." It happens. It happens more than you think. Geez, I'd sit in this car all day and drive on. I really, really would. It's amazingly efficient. What I absolutely adore is the competition now is fierce, you know, for money. That's, in my brain, that's what I'm thinking, you know. That's where I think we need to be. That's what we need to be doing, is that competition is fierce. And this should trouble Tesla. And if you're not looking at this and looking at Tesla as well, I get, if you look at efficiency figures, the Plaid is going to be more efficient than this. But if you look at joy, at driver, I'm not sure the Plaid's going to drive as well as this. Now, Model S has been around for a long time. It needs an update anyway. And Porsche Taycan now is getting, it's been seen, you know, it's been out a while. I really like this. This is Audi doing what Audi does well, which is paying attention to what its customers want.